welcome to the 7-part series of the Spiral of Creation, which is using the chakras more in a spiral pattern rather than straight up or down. And it's a system that's used in, or patterning that's used in a system called the dream spell, which is based off of sort of the Mayan day counting. Some people call it an astrology, but it's, just sort of like a day counting patterning system. And in the dream spell, which is its own thing, it's based off of the Mayan calendars, but it is a little bit of a more modern take on it. They have this 7-day pattern of how we work through the chakras, and it's in a spiral of creation. And so what this series is intended to do is to take us through that spiral of creation. So in the very first reading, we are going to receive a download, open to inspiration. So we're going to work each week on clearing and understanding how we work with each chakra to help it sort of clear and open and be ready for what is going to be coming in. And so I'm going to be putting this intro to the series at the start of each of the 7-week actual videos. So if you've already seen this, feel free to skip ahead to the intro to the actual reading. But if you haven't seen this yet, or if you want a refresher, I would stay here. And also a note that it is very important that you do this in order. So if you're coming into this and seeing this when we're at the heart chakra, so like the 7th reading, or if we're at the throat chakra, which would be the 5th reading, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, the 5th one, whichever one you're coming in at. If you have not gone in order, I would highly suggest for you to go back and start with the first reading of the series because this is a patterning. The first one is going to kick it off, and each subsequent one is a step that you shouldn't skip over. So I'm just going to go over what this patterning is. So we start in this system with the crown chakra. And in the philosophy around this spiraling pattern with the chakras, this is where we receive a download, receive inspiration or a divine spark, and it starts the spiral of creation. And so in the first reading, I will be helping us to see where there may be any blocks or things to be cleared, connecting different insights into how you may work with this chakra in general, and then just getting any insights about what kind of download or inspiration may be coming, but leaving it open-ended. And it's going to be a full week between readings. And so giving you that whole week of time to sort of receive your download, sort of pay attention to what this reading illuminated for you and receiving the download. And then in the second week, we'll anchor it down into the body by going into the root chakra. So taking the download and grounding it, finding how we feel connected to this, and how we feel aligned in our depths with it. So finding, our connection, our alignment, and our grounding with the inspiration that came in. And then we take it back up to the third eye, and this is the week where we will be using inner knowing to help see where there's old programming that needs to be cleared away for new programming and new creation to come in, and tapping into any inner knowings we have that can help us have vision with this, sight with it, so some longer term planning and strategy with it. And then we go back down into the sacral chakra. And so we take all these things the insights we've had and the understandings of maybe what's needed to be cut in terms of old programming, and we sort of transmutate that, we alchemize it and free up new energy to come in and start to move and feel a sensitivity and connect to some emotionality and fluidity around what this download is. So like beyond just anchoring it in and feeling connected to it, now we're kind of moving with it and feeling how it feels to us, which might help us to mold something about this or move something about it, and getting creative with it. But in the beginning, there does have to be some sort of alchemy that helps to take things we've seen that we need to cut away and sort of move it out of us as well, in order to get to moving it into us in a more fluid, creative way. And then we go back up into the throat chakra. And this is where, now that we've felt this energy, moved it, maybe molded something about it, there's something we probably want to speak at this point, release at this point. And so this is the reading where we'll connect to where there may be blocks around oppression or repression that need you to express something in order to open the gates and let it vibrate out in the world, resonate out in the world by you speaking your truth and releasing any blocks here. And then we go back down into our solar center, and this is where we find our core value with this, which gives us confidence and willpower and connection to manifesting and real sort of vitality around this to kind of charge forward and stake our claim in whatever this download has kind of turned into at this point. And then we end the series anchoring into our heart chakra, which is the center chakra of all. And it's where things fully integrate into us. So now at the end of this spiral of creation, something is trying to fully integrate here, which then opens our heart, helps us to radiate and be the presence of it and just be it. Be whatever the presence of this download ends up transforming into in this creation cycle. And in my opinion, this spiral of creation and working with the chakras this way, where we then really integrate something into our hearts, to me it's like the heart is the key that turns something on that then awakens the chakra as we're used to, the chakra system as we're used to hearing about it with like a kundalini rising. So I feel like we need to go through this spiral process and really anchor into our heart, which becomes a key that creates that kundalini rising that ignites all the chakras fully on and rising up and creating an awakening. And then we start again. It's like that awakening makes us fully open again, and then we're ready to receive a new download, a new inspiration, and a new message for a new spiral of creation. That's how I see it anyway. The dream spell system, they actually call these the 7 radial plasmas, but I think most people are more familiar with the chakra terminology. That system doesn't necessarily talk about that being the key for the kundalini rising. That's sort of my own opinion, and as I've worked this pattern a lot over the last couple of years, that's sort of how I feel like it works for me, at least. So this is where I'm going to leave you. Definitely go back to the first reading and do these in order if you're here for the first time at a later on reading. And you can definitely skip over this series intro now that you have seen it in the other readings, but definitely sometimes it's nice to have a refresher too. So if you feel like you need that, you know, maybe at the first one you watch this, and the second and third you don't need to, but then at the fourth you're like, oh, I need to refresh with that. You know, whatever works for you. But once you've seen this once, don't feel like you need to watch it every time. So after this intro that will be at the start of each of the 7 readings, we will go into the intro for the actual reading. So I will see you in the intro for whichever reading you are at. All right, see you guys. Hello, beautiful muses. Welcome to CosmoMuse Tarot and to another reading within this Spiral of Creation series where we're going through our chakras in more of a spiral versus straight up and down to tap into them in a way that creates, that takes us on a journey of creation and lands us into our heart. So if you are at this reading, you have done the crown chakra already, where you got your initial inspiration, that is your specific thing you're taking through the spiral of creation. You know, so you each have your own individual things you're taking on this journey. And then we went to the root chakra and anchored it into our body, found some alignment with it, which gave us a green light with our energy and vitality to move this into our lives. Went back up to the third eye, where we found some more farsightedness about this, found some inner knowing and intuitive connection to this about what it's doing in our life, where we're taking it, bigger picture stuff, and just like some inner knowing in terms of connecting us also to old programming that maybe needed to be dismantled, as well as, you know, knowings that come through from inner child, past lifetimes, etc. And then we went down in the last reading to the sacral, where we brought it back into that embodiment place, but in a more fluid way, where we're feeling it, being connected to our emotions around it, moving things, molding things, feeling sensually connected to this inspiration through this spiral. And connected to what the form and function and emotion and worth and whatever it was for you is. And now we're going back up to a higher chakra, into the throat chakra, where we now take this more from kind of inner places of aligning and moving and creating into something that we are going to now express a little bit more out into the world. So the throat chakra is our expression chakra. So it can give us some stylistic sense. So even though the sacral chakra is really like the creative force, our throat chakra can give us that refined way of actually expressing this, of creating sort of a skillfulness around what we are creating or doing, but also where we connect to our voice, hence truth. So there's a refinement of sort of in a creative way of putting this, whatever you're working on through this spiral of creation, out into the world, but also vocalizing truths that you're now feeling compelled to vocalize. And that vocalization is something, as well as expression, is something that takes this out in the world and gives it a vibration out in the world to then both be able to clear the path of anything that's sort of feeling oppressed or repressed. It really kind of breaks that up by using our voice. It also puts the vibration of our truth out there. And it can, if this is more of a creative thing, sort of put a vibration of our creation into the world and start to get some initial imprints of how that's, what kind of effect that's having outside of you. yeah, so a lot of cool stuff going on here. So let's dive into it. We've got 4 piles. These are different decks that have chakra associated cards within them. So we won't be using these decks or cards in the reading. They're just placeholders to represent the throat chakra. So we've got the throat chakra from the Sigil Oracle for pile 1, which is also Vishuddha in Sanskrit. And then we've got a throat chakra from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. Expansion is this one's title. And then throat chakra from the Yogic deck. Sort of a more beautiful collage image. And then the throat chakra from the Your Wise Animal Body deck. And this one has the keyword of say on it. Attending to what you need to say. Okay, so if you are someone that enjoys the breath work that I do, we'll jump into that now. If you have your own process, you can just pause here and do your thing. But for those of you that want the breath work, we'll jump in. So place your feet firmly on the ground. Feel that stability underneath you. And then breathe into your body to anchor into that, to feel the weight and expansion that air puts into you, to help you feel grounded and embodied. Now release that and take another deep breath in, and this time move that up, up, up into the space between your eyes. Suck in a little bit more air to add pressure. And then out loud exhale, opening up your crown chakra in the process. And tune back into these cards now and ask which one has your aligned throat chakra message. And you don't have to stay with the same pile throughout this series. So if you went with the Yogic deck last time, you can pick any of the piles this time. All right, I will see you guys in your readings. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your throat chakra reading. You guys picked the throat chakra or Vishuddha card from the Sigil Oracle. So I'm just going to place that over here as sort of our anchor point. Excuse me. Okay, so diving into this, I've already flipped over the top row of oracle cards, which are symbolizing anything you know, that Spirit wants to bring to your attention around things you should know to help open your throat chakra, to allow in this spiral of creation. So whether it's something about timing, preparation, blocks, whatever it may be. And pretty immediately with this kind of orchestration of cards, it's like whatever is coming in here, I think is really going to be shaking up your life a lot, or you'll be at least putting the vibration out into the world that of some way of kind of shaking up your life, or that will shake up your life, something about this. But there is something about also like maybe information you're waiting on that helps you to find the right kind of resonance to articulate, to express the right fairness about something, the right resonance, the right exchange about something. Or it could be sort of communication needing to be had with a partner, or information you're waiting on about a partner, or about some sort of relationship in your life that's important. Something around that. But immediately also so this card is a 41, which adds up to 5, and then this card is 5, and that 5 energy is all about change. And there's already just this airy energy that's like movement. And then Explorer comes out, and it's sort of like, yeah, I'm just getting the sense that either your spiral of creation has something to do with creating some change in your life, in the world, or that just has like a lot of information to release and express, that could really shift perspective. So maybe you're waiting for the right perspective to come in, the right information that will give you the right perspective, the right articulation that has the right sort of resonance of how to speak, what to speak, or if it's not speaking and it's more of an expression you're putting out, how or what that is. Yeah, but I also just get the sense that you're needing to sort of move some information around. Be curious right now. I think by being curious and connecting and, you know, communicating things, whatever it is that is like needed to unlock your throat, you'll find by just like being out there, bouncing things off of others, gathering information, or it's just maybe even just connecting in certain ways, reestablishing some connections. There's something about that, about being open-minded and open and out and connecting, that will bring the right kind of clicking in of things where you'll feel like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel this in my throat now. My truth is becoming more clear. Whatever truth is coming through is becoming clear now. Okay, let's look at some tarot confirmation cards on all of this. 7 of Cups. Yeah, you have some choices, and it's like you need to be out there. There's something, I think there's a lot of choices in front of you right now, and a lot of it feels quite obscure. Like what's behind those choices might be hard to know initially. And so you're having like a hard time knowing the right choices to make or the right choice to make. And it's like, get out. There's keys to, through your community, through being out and communicating, you'll find the right keys or the right information that gives you sort of like the aha on which choice or choices are right for you and for this time, and not because they look shiny and pretty, but because they feel right. And then we've got King of Cups coming over that kind of relationship or equate to make equal card. Yeah, and I think that this is just saying like you have like a very wise, powerful way of staying present and understanding of certain situations and people and emotions that may be involved in what's going on in all of this. And it's like, you know, trust your heart, trust your ability to kind of hold some strength and command in this situation while you bring into focus whatever's trying to come into focus for you here. Yeah, just like trust your strength and your command of your heart, and your ability to, yeah, show up for others that way too. And the Star over the Explorer. Yeah, whatever, you know, when your throat opens, when you find the information you're needing, the right harmony of certain things you're needing to, I think it really, that opening, when you feel your throat chakra open in this particular spiral, it's going to feel just sort of like very hopeful, very expansive and bright. And I think you'll know immediately what your truth is, and you'll know immediately what's inspiring and how to express it. Yeah, so that's beautiful stuff. Just get out there and turn some wheels around you, make some connections around you, and I think it will all kind of start to make more and more sense of what the information is you're needing or what the truth is you're seeking, that will really have your throat chakra feeling clear with its truth. Okay, we're going to move to the second row now, which is a little bit more general stuff about how your particular throat chakra works. So this first card is about your relationship with your throat chakra. What is that relationship? How do you build a stronger relationship with it? Presence. I've already felt that like King of Cups thing, that out needing to communicate. It's like, I think you have a strong presence of truth in you, of how you express, how you use your voice. I feel like you, when you're present with that and to it, is when it is very much so powerful. But I think in general, you have a strong presence through your voice, through your truths. And under it, it says, the energy of presence supports our ability to focus our full attention and stay in the here and now. Yeah, so anything you can do, I mean, in general, you have a strong relationship to your throat chakra of being very present to your truths and present to what you're expressing. But the more you can stay present to those types of things, what you're voicing, what you're expressing, what your truth is, the more your throat chakra really connects with you and you connect with it and you understand it and how you use your voice. It's just like being very present in the moment, aware, yeah, that kind of thing. Let's get a confirmation card to add to that. Temperance, beautiful. Yeah, so you may be very skilled when you are present and when your relationship is strong because of being present with your throat and truth and expression. You really know how to bring certain things into flow. And this definitely also illuminates maybe what's going on in this current phase right here. Is, I think, part of what you're very present to and part of what your throat chakra or your voice and expression is really good at doing is adding perspective to things that really harmonizes and builds bridges and is able to hold complexities and a spectrum of perspective that's able to, harmonize many varied ways of thinking, of being, of acting, of believing, whatever it is. It's like you really know how to kind of bridge worlds through truths you have, through deep truths about perspective, deep expression about perspective that really holds things together through how you're able to be present. And I love on this temperance card how present feeling all of these dimensions of self are. It's like that, able to hold many, many perspectives and being present to all of them in a very sound, calm, wise way. And so that is a complex thing that I'm seeing there, of something you have relationship with your throat chakra. So it doesn't shock me that you tend to need to gather a lot of information and make connection and find the right tensions and harmonies and exchanges before you can unlock those truths and vibrate them out into the world. So it's just it's like getting a hold of all these different pieces in motion here. But it's sort of like you always know when you know. That star and that explorer, it's like you just feel a click happen when that truth you're looking for is suddenly present and multidimensional. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, we're now going to look at, this card is representing sort of patterns that will present themselves in and around you when your throat chakra is active and healthy and working. Surrender. I can release my need to control. And I think that has a deep connection to this ability to hold a lot of perspectives. And I feel like that's what you do, is like maybe you're like a space holder. So the way you might express and use your voice really knows how to create sort of a safe space for allowing different perspectives to be heard in compassionate ways or in safe ways, and for dialogue to take place in a really fluid, open, kind of healing type of way. So that's gorgeous. So yeah, you'll see probably just like a lot of flow, a lot of resistance disappear around you and in what you're doing when your throat chakra is like active and healthy. And then 7 of Wands. Yeah, I absolutely feel this thing of like knowing how to, it's like you'll witness all of these like posturing sort of disappear within you and around you when you are, when your throat chakra is healthy, it's in its truth, and it's vibrating beautifully in the world. It's like posturing will subside within you, posturing and things you're doing that are around you will subside, and there'll be just this ease of resistance and contraction, and just like things kind of flowing and finding sort of more compassionate ways of being. It's really beautiful. Okay, and then this last one, this one's going to be a kind of an experiment. This last card is indicating sort of the process of your throat chakra when it is integrating something into it. So like, what does that feel like? So I'm using a deck that's a little bit more of a, metaphor type thing. So we'll see how this goes. Could be a journey to interpret these, but it just was what came forward. I kept trying to pick a different deck for this, and it was like, no, this one. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So this is the Modern World. And by the way, this is the Moon Angels deck. So the Modern World, independence trumps. So you lay like a bag of dried up beans. Every day the cup you drink from, will it ever runneth over? The mobile phone you tap on, will you ever clean it with the Martha Stewart endorsed wipes you read about in Real Simple? The carrots you take out of the bag and put into your mouth, are they improving your eyesight yet? What's your ancient, authentic, networked desire, and how can the interweb bring you to the depth of that future? Not what capitalism wants of you. Here's the question: what do you want? Not what wants you. Interesting. Yeah, I think that actually makes a lot of sense to me, is when your throat chakra is processing things and integrating certain things, it's like you become more and more clear about what your authenticity is, and not what the overlays of the world and programming have sort of brought into your consciousness. Like you become much more clear about your authentic truth, about your authentic alignment, hence your authentic wants in the world, which is really, really beautiful. Okay, and then a confirmation for this is Divine Masculine, and that is like a clarity and a knowing of how to assert that, and how to create some like order and structure and assertion around suddenly feeling more clear about what's authentic in you and your truths. Yeah, I feel like the process when your throat chakra is integrating something, it's like you have these sudden epiphanies of like, oh, this thing I've been focusing on, or this way of functioning, or this goal I have is not about me. That got placed on me somewhere, that I got attached to it for some strange reason. And my voice just like, yeah, it really reacted to that. That's like, yeah, when it's integrating, when your throat's integrating, it will like cough that out. Like you'll have these epiphanies of like, oh, that's not my truth. Why did I think that was my truth? And then like really knowing why you've thought that and being able to just like clear it out almost physically. Like you may get your throat itching, closing up, feeling congested or something, or like a need to cough something out of it when that clarity is kind of coming through. And then this sort of like, yeah, aha, of like knowing how to go forward with what your truth is. Beautiful. Okay, so some last two cards. I want to get some information that's a little bit more specific to this spiral of creation as connected to your throat chakra. And so maybe kind of like what, and some of that, to be honest, has sort of come through already, but we're just going to get a little deeper of like what, when your throat opens to this spiral, like what are the kinds of truths you're going to start to see or feel, or, oh, that's beautiful, imperfection. And I think that goes so deeply with what we saw here about like really getting more and more in touch with like what your truths are versus overlays you've gotten attached to that are what you maybe thought were truths, but weren't deep truths. And it's sort of like this spiral of creation may be helping you come to grips with things you've previously considered imperfections or things you've needed to fix about you, but suddenly starting to see more truth about how those things are not flaws, they're not to be fixed, they're what distinctly make you you out of anyone that's ever lived in the history of the world. And so how that is the most beautiful thing about you, and the thing that you should most kind of care for and treasure and develop are these things you've previously thought were imperfections. They're what make your path your path. Yeah. And then concede. Yeah, I think so an ally from the Mayan Oracle that wants to come through to be here for you as you work through your throat chakra in the spiral of creation is like really starting to find higher visions, the highest potential of your authenticity. What is your truth? There's some really strong kind of seed ideas coming through here, potentials being felt and seen that are giving you a lot of hope with the star card here. So an ally that wants to be with you through this throat chakra time is it's like your higher perspective, your higher wisdom and vision is really coming online and wanting to be present for you. Come full circle with presence. Yeah, so gorgeous throat chakra reading, you guys. Good luck on this week of finding truths, finding your voice, and finding certain expression and putting this spiral of creation a little bit more outward facing into the world. I will be back next week from at least when I'm putting these together. Back down to the solar plexus chakra. We're getting to our last two after this, which is where we'll connect to the willpower, this sort of charging this forward into the world with you know, our root chakra gave us the green light to start incorporating this into our energy, but the solar chakra gives us our green light to charge forward in the world with this. And so where we find, willpower, confidence, what's luminous about this, that kind of stuff. So that'll be a fun reading. All right. If this resonated, I always appreciate a thumbs up. Little comments are definitely fun to check out, and definitely subscribe if you are not yet. All right. See you guys. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your chakra, throat chakra reading for the Spiral of Creation series. You guys picked the throat chakra card from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. And this particular one has the word expansion on it. So that might be something to kind of key into that may have something to do with what's going on here, but I'll refer back to it when and if it ever feels right to do so. But I do think there's some expansion taking place, maybe in your throat chakra or through this spiral of creation by going through your throat chakra. We'll see what happens. Okay, so this top row, I've already flipped over the oracle cards, and this is going to give us some information that you might need to know, to either understand clearings that need to happen, timing, preparation for your throat chakra in order for this spiral of creation to enter into it. And so it's interesting because we got the magic card, which has alchemy over it as a word. Put it up for you guys to see better. And then right out after it is the alchemist. And then the first card out was like this tension thing. And so what I'm feeling is there may be, with this spiral of creation, some kind of truth you're trying to sit in that currently feels uneasy to you, like it's not quite like your truth, some sort of truth or expression around what's coming, isn't feeling as elevated as it should. So there's like a tension being felt, maybe in your body in general, could be in your mind, but very likely maybe in your throat chakra, like there's a tensing in your throat because there's some like constriction or restriction from letting this spiral in until you can alchemize something that's going on that allows a higher vibrational truth to come in versus like a lower vibrational one. And we all go through these times. I'm not saying you're someone that tends to have a lower vibration at like in any way, but we all go through things that, you know, sometimes initially feel hard to grapple with, and we can have some sort of lower feelings of truth around things, or, you know, how we want to respond or voice something. But by sitting on that for a day or two, suddenly we can kind of see the bigger picture and alchemize it with sort of higher perspective, with our heart, with whatever it is, with, you know, more wise parts of us, or through talking to someone we trust, talking to a therapist, talking to a friend, talking to a partner, a parent, a neighbor, whoever might have some wisdom here. It's like, I think that you feel it though. There's like a tension, especially in your throat, that it's like, no, I can't let this spiral in because there's like, I need to fix how my throat's vibrating right now. Yeah, so I would just feel into what it is you would want to say, vocalize about this spiral of creation right now, and then do some writing afterwards about why that feels a little bit off or tense within you. And that, I think, will illuminate a lot about showing where there's maybe some denser thoughts or feelings to kind of work through, and just giving it space. I really feel like the alchemizing here is more just like giving it space, allowing that time to elevate your perspective, and talking to someone you think that has like some experience or some wisdom that, and it could even be not necessarily speaking to them about what's going on, but there might just be someone that comes to mind that you enjoy having conversation with, because their truth, what they vocalize, tend to really soften your own harmonies a bit. And I feel like that's just like something, I feel like it's that easy. I feel like you just need to have a conversation with someone that pops into your mind that tends to just like really ease tensions in you, and tends to soften your truths sometimes. Yeah, keep it simple. I really feel keep it simple. And you'll know those right conversations, those right just people being around the right energy, the right people will just like elevate whatever truth you're kind of tense with right now. Yeah. Okay, let's get some tarot confirmation cards and see if we can get any more context here. 3 of Wands. Yeah, I think you're waiting. Let me get the other cards out. Knight of Cups. Yeah, someone who thinks poetically, speaks poetically, or that speaks compassionately or acts compassionately. 10 of Pentacles. Oh, that's beautiful to see. So yeah, there's I think just being aware that there's a tension somewhere in you as this spiral is entering your throat. So some sort of way you're feeling about the truth of something, the way you're feeling about how you want to express something. Stay observant to this. Stay aware and present to that you may feel some tension here. And feel like your clarity around truth and what your expression is tense because it's not as high as you have expectation and standards around. And the simple act of just being present to that and observing it will bring those right connections in, the right people, the right conversations in, that will really ease those tensions, soften the tensions, bring the perspective needed, bring just a distraction even needed. But I really think it's like, it could even be like reading a book that's very poetic or high vibe. But I do think it's like a person. This feels like conversation to me. I think there's a person. I think just being present, being aware to this, staying present to it, it will deliver you the right dialogue, conversation person that has the exact sort of beautiful perspective needed to alchemize where your truth is right now, where you're not willing to go forward with that truth because it doesn't feel as beautiful as you want it to feel yet. And that person will bring that right vibration that just gives you a perspective needed, that that brings everything into much more alignment and harmony and the beauty you want. And there's something about this then that when you become the alchemist and you feel yourself transforming, alchemizing your truth and your expression, there's something like very material that I think will start to flow when you find, it's like when you find that right truth and the right level of truth that you are seeking. It's like you feel the value of that truth and how powerfully it will circulate in the world. Yeah, gorgeous. Okay, we're going to move to this second or lower row to look a little bit more generally about your throat chakra. So this first card is going to be about your relationship with your throat chakra. So what is your relationship with it? How do you build a relationship with it? We've got honesty. The energy of honesty supports our choice to be courageously truthful and genuine with kindness and tact. And this is why your throat chakra is constricted right now. It's because there's like a level of, it's like you know when you feel your truth and your expression are at a certain beautiful level, and when they're not at that level, you're not willing to go forward with it because there's something there that's not in your what you know as your honesty, because you like to come, like you develop a very kindness oriented relationship in expression and your truth. And there's something right now that it's like not at the level that you build relationship with your throat chakra through. It's like not to the level you expect of your truths. So yeah, but in general, yeah, it's like a real genuine, I think being honest with yourself, the more you're honest with yourself, the more you come from an honest place and your truths become much more honest. And there's something about that that's very kind in itself. Honesty, not out of like blatantly honest in terms of like blunt, you know. This doesn't feel like a blunt honest. It's like an honest that's very genuine, an honest that's very heart-centered, that sees with the heart. So it sees, I do feel like there's a connection with your heart and your throat. I think that's why you have expectations of your truth and expression. Sometimes maybe taking a while to reach the right level that you would put those out into the world with, because you expect a certain sort of heart seeing about honesty. And until you can really get there. So I feel like the way to really kind of shortcut that is a deeper awareness of how integral your heart is to your throat, to your truth. And the more you try to see your truth and the truth of circumstances through your heart and not as much through your mind or instincts, but like really, you know, asking your heart about your truths of certain things, or how to express certain things, it's like that really develops your relationship with your throat. Gorgeous. Let's get a confirmation for this. The Tower card. That's fascinating. And so I think also a part of this is like, because you also want that kind of heart-seeing type of truth in your truths and your expression, you want that in the world as well. So you're not scared to kind of tear down through your truths things that are really disingenuous, that are really harmful, that are built on shaky foundations or lies. Like you're not scared to use your heart-seeing truth to dismantle things, really. I don't think that scares you at all. And it actually strengthens your relationship with your throat chakra. Wow, powerful. Okay, next card, we're going to look at the kinds of patterns that will start to present when your throat chakra is active and healthy. Beautiful. Forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Again, this heart thing. Forgiveness is a heart thing. Flow of love is a heart thing. So when your truths and your expression are fed through your heart, are centered through your heart's wisdom, they are, there's active and healthy throat energy in the world and in you, and it fosters self-forgiveness, which fosters forgiveness outside of you, and just like a tone of being able to let things go, being able to see the humanity behind things, to see the complexity behind things, and to be able to just kind of surrender and let things go, and really being able to find love around you, a flow of, it's just like a flow of love around you, a flow of compassion around you. Yeah, divine feminine too there. It's just like really just this like deep trust in like a higher force and a more divine force working through your life, and being able to, it's like you'll feel very in sync with divine timing, with right timing, with being open and receptive, with accepting circumstances for what they are, especially when there's circumstances we really can't control, and just sort of being able to roll with it, being able to trust in a bigger picture and a more divine unfolding of things. But also I think in this trust of like understanding that you have a certain fertility and abundance within you. So if there's some circumstance in your life, or some person or this or that that's needs forgiving, it's easier for you to forgive, because it's like this trust that there's so much more right behind that wave. There's endless waves behind every wave, and so you don't get hung up on this wave of shit. You're like, well, this was a shit wave, but there's a beautiful wave coming right behind this, so I can just let go. I'm not saying that it's okay, but I'm saying I'm moving on type of thing, because there's endless beautiful flows of life and timing and possibility always on the next round of waves coming through, and there's endless waves coming through. And so it's just this ease of being able to kind of let things go, because you trust in your ability to co-create with different waves that come. We don't catch every wave. Sometimes we get tossed by a wave, but sometimes we catch the right wave at the right time, in the best way, whatever, the right board, the right, whatever it is. It's like you just trust that sometimes the wave sucks, and sometimes the wave right behind it is the best wave we'll ever catch. And so we're just like, I'm just going to move on. I'm not going to fixate on getting tossed by that wave, because my next wave, I don't want to miss it if it's beautiful, if it's my perfect wave. So I'm moving on. So that's sort of like the energy I think you'll feel and be able to move through, that will kind of pattern in you when things are very healthy with your throat. Okay, this last one we're going to look at is sort of the process of your throat chakra when it's in mode of integrating something. Like, how does that feel when your throat chakra is really working hard to integrate something? So I'm going to read from the book for this, and these are kind of like metaphors, so we'll see how that works. The first one worked well, but we'll see how this goes. Mountains, it says fascination. Mountains are probably filled with diamonds. If you are still like the mountain, you can feel the shining, fascinating diamond that you are. A note on the etymology of fascination. From the Latin fascinatus, past principle of fascinare, bewitch, enchant, a charm, spell, witchcraft. To fascinate is to bring under a spell by the power of the eye or tongue. Hence a subtle, irresistible influence upon the imagination, reason, or will. That's beautiful. So when your throat chakra, your truth, your expression is integrating something into it, I think you're going to feel enchanted by yourself, like the way things are, like truths you're coming into, ways you're feeling ready to express. I think to yourself, you're going to feel like you're under a spell. There's so much alchemy in your reading. Like, yeah, it's like you're going to feel that alchemization process going on, and it will feel enchanting. It will feel fascinating. So I think there will be some fascination in your own energy, which then reflects outward too, which I think others will feel that influence of fascination around you and enchantment around you and spellbinding around you. I do think, yeah, I mean, this is definitely helping me pick up on that alchemy thread in a new way, but like, I think when you find the truths that are really honest and heart-seeing, and when you express things from that, I think you're a very hypnotic, fascinating expresser, truth speaker, speaker in general, which, yeah, and I think that expands, like when you come from that very heart-centered truth, I think that expands your life. And that essence of forgiveness with that divine feminine feels very expansive to me. Letting things go, moving on, because my life is expansive, my energy is expansive, and now also fascinating and enchanting. And then we've got High Priestess here too. So the sensation also feeling when your throat chakra is integrating is this your truth and expression really connecting to trusting your inner knowings and holding a lot of dignity for your own intuition and your own trusting of your own intuitive truths, intuitive seeing, intuitive knowings. I think that comes online pretty heavy too, which adds to that divine feminine, it adds to that fascination and alchemy we've already seen. Very beautiful. Okay, last two cards we're going to do. I want to look a little bit more specifically at this spiral of creation. And even though whatever you are each taking through this spiral of creation is very different, so I can't quite speak to it as a whole, I do want some messages from Spirit about maybe what kind, it's like a little bit more flavor or context to sort of a style or kind of truth or focus of truth, or what the truth may bring to you. Terra firma. Yeah, this is all about, I mean, we already saw the 10 of Pentacles here, Divine Feminine here. I do think something about the truth coming through in this spiral of creation, or at least when your spiral of creation goes through your throat, I think truths that will come through or that will form, or expressions that are going to form, are really going to highlight ways of molding your world, moving the material of your life, moving and forming and molding, you know, the material, the matter, the physicality, the financiality, I don't, that's not a word, of your life. Ooh, I love how these two shapes, kind of golden squares, reflect each other, even though these are very, very different kind of energies, from the Mayan, archetypes, the, I don't know how they pronounce this, ahau, but it's essentially the sun, and it's about enlightenment. So I do think that, and this, you know, my intention with this card specifically is sort of an ally that wants to be with you. And so I'm definitely feeling a relationship with the Three of Wands in this, of like there's, you know, some illumination and some alignment that wants to be your ally as you work with your throat chakra to bring in the right alliances, the right alignments, the right information, the right people, the right, the right things that give you a much higher enlightened perspective here. Yeah, gorgeous. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate a thumbs up. Little comments are fun to read as well. And definitely subscribe if you are not yet. I will be back from my time when I'm doing these in real time a week from now with the next one, which will be the second to last of this series, where we will go back down into the solar plexus. So the throat was sort of our first of really kind of pushing our spiral of creation out into the world. And the solar plexus is where we'll get in touch with a little bit more willpower, confidence, kind of, you know, what feels luminous to push out and start kind of like producing and asserting into the world. So while the root chakra gave us sort of like an initial green light for this spiral to enter our energy field, our life, and to kind of put it into motion, the solar plexus is like the green light to take it out into the world. So that will be up next. And yeah, I'll see you guys there in my time in a week. All right, see ya. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your throat chakra reading for the Spiral of Creation series. You guys picked the throat chakra or Vishuddha chakra from the Yogic deck. So we'll put that over here for the time being as sort of like our anchor. Okay, we're going to jump in with this top row of oracle cards, which are representing things that you need to know to either prepare your throat chakra, blocks to clear, or timing to be had. And it was really interesting because initially, like what came out, it was like Aries, which is act, and then Volcano, which is just like, these both felt like go, you know, like it's, you know, like initially I was like, okay, well, they're clearly like, it's saying like, just go with this, like your expression is here, just act on it. But then as I was going through and doing the rest of the cards after these two, it was like every single pile fell apart. Like cards were flipping out everywhere. I couldn't kind of make things go smoothly. And so I was like, okay, I need to talk about these things, impulses you may have to speak your truths, to express things out into the world right now, or as you're trying to bring this spiral of creation into your throat. The warning here is like, don't act too quickly. You will make a mess of things. Just as volcanoes are very destructive and messy, you could kind of like a little bit of that like premature start, you could say here. It's like and I feel that with the underworld. It's like something is down in the depths of you, like really forming, that's a very valuable resource around, or a valuable, I mean, it is a resource, but specifically a truth or expression that you're feeling, I think, really excited to bring out into the world in like a big expression and in assertive action. And I think this is saying that, like, even though this is basically ready, it's for whatever reason, you need to be a little bit more tempered in how you do this, like one step at a time instead of charging through the gate like it's a race. Like, do this in sort of a step-by-step method for the first couple of steps, sort of like the rumblings of the earth when a volcano is about to blow. Let that be felt first. Kind of feel the vibrations of letting things rumble a little bit before you explode it out into the world. Yeah, just spend a minute when you feel that impulse to burst this out like a truth or an expression. Like, take a couple of slow steps first. Get your footing first. Find your focus, your order, your direction first, and then let it blow. I do get the sense that there is like energy that wants to blow here, and it's going to blow here. But there's a way to do this with a little bit more thought and precision by taking a few slow, steady steps first to get your footing, and then when you feel stable, go. So, I don't know, this is coming through here. So yeah, I mean, I feel like whatever is coming through your spiral of creation, or how you're feeling about it at this point, is probably feeling quite exciting to you, and your truths are forming quite quickly, or whatever you want to express is maybe forming quite quickly. Let's see, I want to get all of these confirmations out, and then we'll go in. 6 of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles, and the Hermit. Yeah. There's something coming here from your own instinct, your own experience of learning something by doing something, by experientially having wisdom here. Instead of just like learning something in school, you've learned it through being through it. And so you have your own instincts and your own sort of sovereignty about what you are going to bring up, that is very powerful, that is very it's going to be very desired in the world. And I think people are going to want to exchange on this a lot and be excited about it. But again, here with that 2 of Pentacles, I am getting that sense of when I was shuffling, it was like too much was falling out. It was like, just make sure you don't have too, if you feel there's an expression, I'm going to give an example. So say you're feeling a certain truth or expression formulating, you're excited to bring it out. Maybe it's a truth you're feeling around an astrological transit, and you sense a way of being able to express this, but you kind of make it multifaceted and like a campaign around it, or something like, I'm going to do a whole webinar about it, and I'm going to do a written piece about it for, to put out in a magazine, and I'm going to post on social media about it, and then from that I'll do a whole class based off of it. It's like, I think there's like too many things you're trying to spurt out of this expression or what you're wanting to do, and it's like, slim this down, focus, find no more than 2 points of bringing this about, and that will give you the structure, the stature, and the authority that you need, versus like spreading yourself too thin and things kind of fumbling. Recognize your limitations, I think is what it's saying here. Like, it's fine to be passionate and impulsive, but you need to take a couple steps to get your footing, and you need to look at the big picture and what is really feasible in terms of what you're going to juggle here and what isn't, and really find some limitation for yourself, which hence some weeding out of certain things. But yeah, I feel like this is something that could circulate a lot of it's interesting. I've had a lot of pentacles coming out in these readings. It's like these, expression, this throat point, for whatever reason in this, spiral series, is really connecting a lot of people to some material power. But I do think if you can kind of, do what we've already talked about, give yourself some limitations, take a few stabilizing steps, this can bring whatever you're expressing, whatever truth you're vibrating out. It could bring, some financial reward here, potentially, or at least just a feeling of like more security in some way. Yeah, really cool. I also just wanted to point out, I forgot to do this. Notice, look how similar these are. So funny. I think you're, and like right at the throat, their hands. I think you're just feeling very right, like your throat chakra is just like, bam, I know, I know what my truth is here. I know what my expression is here. I'm feeling it. I'm passionate. I'm in it. It's just like, take a minute, do this thoughtfully. This feels very thoughtful to me. Do it thoughtfully, focusedly, calm. Like, she's calm. She's still like putting it out there, expressing it, not delaying, but it's like calm and focused. Yeah. So like meditate on her. That's the energy you want to channel. Okay. All right. The next row down, we're going to look more generally at your throat chakra. So this first card is indicating what your relational energy with your throat chakra is. So like, what kind of relationship do you have with your throat chakra? Hence, how can you build, be conscious of building a better relationship there, or strengthening relationship there? So you've got reflection. The energy of reflection supports our growth through the insights we get from the contemplations of self and other. And we've got 33, so master number, master expression. So that does indicate, that makes me, that gives me insight into maybe why you're so quick to kind of have your throat chakra just like drop into this spiral of creation so instantaneously. Is this like you're a master creator? You're very masterful. You have a very masterful throat chakra. And the more you work on reflective practices, whether that's, in dialogue with others about things in our life, and really observing the mirroring we get back, the responses we get back, or in general, kind of the responses you get back from speaking and expressing things, like being very observant of that and aware of response as a reflection, and not taking it as like criticism, but taking it as beautiful information, being this master kind of creative that you are. It just, I think you do this really, really beautifully and simply, and you're very receptive to reflection, and hence how you can more masterfully tune your vibration, your voice, your truth, your expression, because you pay such deep attention. You have such deep awareness of how things are received, and you receive feedback very beautifully into you. And then also reflective processes with yourself, whether that's like journaling or contemplation. I think the more you do those types of things, the more you also build this kind of very masterful, creative energy with your truth, your voice, your expression. Okay, let's get a confirmation here. Whoops. Two of Cups. That's gorgeous. It's like a very also soul aligned kind of throat chakra relationship, which, another, this is related to the energy of Cancer, which is also, the energy that the Chariot is related to. And I'm feeling like a strong connection in that way of like, when we are aligned with our soul, with our Cancer energy, so our intuition, our soul, our depths, when we're aligned with that, when we take the time to reflect and deepen into ourselves and deepen into awareness, what's inside of us, and connect and align through that place, the green lights we get in our mind-body alignment allow us to move forward very quickly in life. And so I feel this like soul connection to your throat. Like your throat chakra, hence your truths, your expression, are very connected to that alignment with your soul, which gives you these beautiful green lights to kind of move quickly. So yeah, I mean, again, it's like the more you connect to your soul, the more you work on contemplation, reflection, journaling, whatever intuitive practices and receptive practices, also in awareness of how things are received, hence receiving that kind of response. Yeah, the more you really develop this relationship with your throat chakra, that's, a more masterful relationship. Okay, next we're going to look at the kinds of patterns that will start to present themselves in you and in your life when your throat chakra is active and healthy. Judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. That is gorgeous to see. And I do feel this sort of softness with that soul connection, is that because you can kind of come from this deeper, more soulful place with your truths and expression, the way you're able to kind of, through what expresses and voices into the world through you, and the way that kind of breaks down oppressions and repressions out in the world in front of you, it breaks down judgments. Like the way you express, the way you hold truths really is able to kind of break down judgments in the world in general, but also your own judgments of others around you, judgments toward you. It's like, yeah, when your throat is healthy, it's just like its vibration just completely annihilates that energy of judgment. It's really gorgeous. And like embraces sort of an originality, embraces just a, you do you kind of thing. And then Ace of Cups, and it's just like, yeah, it's just, you'll feel just a flow of heart energy. You'll feel generally your life in flow. yeah, that you do you energy that softens judgment, just brings an endless flow of whatever into your life, but especially of like your heart, your soul, yeah, of whatever your soul most wants tends to just flow too. Okay, this next one is going to show when your throat chakra is in process of integrating something into it. What is its process, and what does that feel like then? And this is kind of like this deck has more metaphor, poetic kind of description, so it's been kind of fun to see how that works. So we'll see for you guys how that goes. So we've got the 9th. Up, aka astral projection. You don't always have to follow the path of gravity. You can create new synapses in the air, project a path across the sky. Ooh, amazing. So, when your throat chakra is integrating, processing something into it, I think that you go other places. You source down in the depths of things, up into the other worlds of things, up into the other stars. I think you're pulling understanding and truths and expressions from different times and different places. So like space time, you kind of eject out of that of like linear time and space as we perceive it. And it's like your perceptions just go somewhere else. And your truth, I think, seem to be delivered to you in some kind of mysterious fashion, but I think you have a sense that like they've traveled to you from afar. Yeah, it's very fascinating. And when I was talking about the 2 of Cups and I brought the Chariot into that, a lot of people also relate the Merkaba to the Chariot card, or that Cancerian territory in general, of like when our soul is aligned, we can just like take off into our light body somewhere. And so I do think that because of how well you align your truth and expression to your soul, you're able to enter your light body very easily, and that's just like a way your throat functions too, and brings back your truths and expression. Oh look, Hierophant. And it I think your throat chakra is very, kind of coming back to that 33 number, that master creative. I think you have frameworks that are very, cultivated through your own instincts and through your own experiences that are very powerful and aligned for you. But I do think you have certain frameworks that help you to bring back your astral projected integrating into not just sort of all of a sudden you receive these truths and expression have kind of integrated from who knows where you're astral projecting, and like not really knowing how to anchor that in. I think you have some frameworks where when that kind of comes into you, you know exactly how to like organize it with a certain wisdom and with a certain way of seeing and perspective and way of being able to kind of like articulate and express that with some authority and in a way that makes sense and feels important. Yeah, so really cool. Okay, just to end, I want to get a couple of cards that are a little more specific to this spiral of creation. So even though you guys have your own things coming through that, I just want to see by being drawn to this throat chakra pile, maybe some kind of general theme that the truth or the expression may be around, that or may kind of integrate into this spiral through coming into your throat. Forgotten. Ooh, that's mysterious. I'm actually, like, I know the cards from this deck very well, and that I would say is like, there's maybe like 3 cards of the whole deck where I'm like, when I read it I remember, but hold on, I'm just finding the book for it. But on my own, I'm like, what? I know it's different than what I would think, so I am grabbing the book for you guys. Hold on one second. Okay. I feel like it was one of the, first ones. Oh, it's on page 33 too, you guys. That's interesting. You have 2 33s. Okay, forgotten. Long, long ago, this is how the story of the forgotten begins anew. It is an invocation to the fathomless reaches of the ancient past that allow us to live in both the past and the future simultaneously. This chant to the forgotten calls forth a secret spirit filled with every grace, every detail, every last consideration for the life incredulous. Long, long ago, it welled up from a soundless and faraway spring where it flowed through the world, filling every gap and chasm with the incredible, intuitive knowledge of its eternity. Somewhere along the way, though, we lost this knowledge. We let it slip away from our consciousness. But at night, in our dreams, it moves as it ever has, ebbing through all the lost creatures, civilizations, and ancient wisdom to our minds as we sleep, and to distant worlds beyond. There's your astral projection. Our souls drink from, there's a lot of soul stuff here. Our souls drink from this fresh, everlasting stream without being called to. It just happens. And we set out anew each morning, seeking the world we forgot. So ancient origin, curiosity, exploration, discovery. This totally feels like your astral body to me. Maybe even visiting ancient times or ancient lifetimes on this planet or another, and like bringing that back. So this, I feel like you do that in general, but this spiral of creation, it's like something's happening with that. Maybe you write stories that kind of come through that channel. Wouldn't surprise me, because all that Cancer type energy that's been showing up is very kind of fiction creative, imaginative. So a lot of fiction writers have kind of Cancer or Moon kind of associations. But it doesn't have to be that, writing. It could just be, bringing back from things from astral travel, from forgotten. It feels like past, having gone back to past ancient lifetimes, bringing something back about that. Really cool, really mysterious, you guys. Okay, last card. I just want an ally for you from the Mayan day-keeping archetypes that wants to kind of assist in your journey with this throat chakra, or that can be an ally in bringing this spiral of creation into your throat chakra, or be an ally as you work the spiral of creation in your throat chakra. At Snap. So this is like the mirror, which cuts, allows us to see the clear truth of things. There's a reflective thing here. It doesn't surprise me with your reflection thing. Being able to really clearly see reflections of things, hence being able to cut out all of the falsities. So really, really clear truths being reflected to you. This guide, this ally, yeah, really wants to bring clear reflections to you. So watch for those reflections. They'll help you to cut away anything false here, maybe any overly impulsive feelings, things going out too early, but also anything that's just clouding the clarity of your perception and your truth and your expression here. So beautiful. Gorgeous reading, you guys. Good luck with this throat chakra journey. My goodness, I can't speak. If this resonated, I always appreciate a thumbs up. Little comments are fun to read as well, and definitely subscribe if you are not yet. A week from now in my time, I will be putting together your solar plexus chakra. It will be the second to last reading for the series, and this will be where we, you know, in the throat chakra, we really are starting to put this into the world, and then down in our solar plexus is the real green light of like asserting this into the world, finding confidence around this and willpower around this and what's luminous around it. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Happy work on your throat chakra, and yeah, I hope it's a beautiful journey for you guys. All right. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your throat chakra reading in this Spiral of Creation chakra series. So you guys picked the throat chakra card from the Your Wise Animal Body deck, which has the keyword say on it. So that might be an important aspect of your throat chakra, either in general or in relation to this particular spiral of creation you're working on. Is you know, our throat chakra is where we find our truth and vocalize our truth, but also where we express something out into the world. So we might take that creativity that we channeled and found in our sacral and find a refined way to express that. So the aspect of saying something may be important to your throat chakra or this particular spiral of creation, as in terms of the things the throat chakra rule, that being central for some reason. Okay, we'll refer back to that to see if there's something specific there, if it makes, when and if that makes sense, but I just wanted to kind of note that might be important, an important factor that we'll see though. Okay, this top row of oracle cards that are already flipped over are going to give us information about timing, blocks, anything you need to know to prepare your throat chakra to open to this spiral of creation, to receive this spiral into it and have its own effect on this spiral of creation. And this is I would say this is more mysterious than I've felt I mean, all of them had mysterious elements, but this feels like, I have like images coming through my head and I don't know how to articulate them. That's the kind of mysterious I'm feeling here. It's sort of like, and it's, something interesting actually that just popped out to me. So you see this girl in this dark matter card that says mystery, by the way, mysterious mystery. I didn't even notice that. A butterfly over her mouth. It's like, you know, she's not blocking her mouth. There's no sort of obstruction to her throat, but there's something more divine covering her mouth for a minute. And so this say thing pops out to me of like, there may just need some time. This feels like time, and I'm seeing the clock here. Like your throat is trying to make sense of a truth. a truth. And that makes sense to me because what I'm getting is like it's hard to articulate, and I'm just seeing more mysterious images coming and going that aren't even like downloading as concrete here. And so the thing that's downloading as concrete is that your throat is working something out that's very mysterious, that's very quantum field related in truth. Like just, it's beyond the normal human capacity type of truth that's coming from being like just hugely connected to the mystery of the beyond, the mystery of what we even perceive as space. Beyond that, there's like something you're very energetically entangled with, and it's like it's not, because of that, it's going to take time for this truth to get to anything that could be articulated, said, expressed. And so to trust that like that butterfly that's covering your mouth will flit off when it recognizes that what is being integrated into you, it's like you're a vessel that's being used right now, to be honest. It's like, I don't think you have control of this. You are being used by energies beyond what we perceive, that are very mysterious, but very beautiful energies. So don't worry about that. You are a vessel right now. You are a nebula incubating, a stellar nursery of things that will birth just, the one thing I can see is what it will birth, what truths will come from this, what expression you will be able to find from this will be like butterflies, very transformative and very beautiful. And is like this butterfly on the mouth, it's like it's very plugged into what's going on inside of you, and it will flit away when it recognizes that whatever's integrating has integrated, and you're ready to be that channel, be the, used as that vessel, as an expression, I really think, I honestly see you guys as like a puppet by something beyond our perception. And so it's like, just let go, kind of. Like, I don't think this is up to you. You are a vessel, something's being integrated into you, something will speak out of you. I don't think you're even going to know where it came from or feel like it's your voice, which is so weird to say. But I think because of the trust you have in being so vulnerable and open to being connected to the mysteries of things that are beyond our conception, is why you're able to be used in this just incredibly profound way, but in a light, in a light being type of way. And yeah, it's just time. There's something formulating, give it time. A truth is coming, and it will integrate into you. I think in the future, it will be something that you have more personal kind of control of that. But I think initially you just need to surrender into being this vessel, and it will speak through you when it's ready. So it's just, that butterfly on your mouth is just saying like, no, don't worry. Like, you don't have to, this isn't, you're just here for us to use. We'll speak when we're ready. I don't know why I'm saying we. That's weird too. We'll speak when we're ready. Okay. There we go. I just feel like I think you know how to be vulnerable and open to the mysteries of things that are hard to perceive. And You probably know this process. I don't think it's the first time this has happened. So just kind of let it be. Time, it just needs some time here, I guess. And then the Weaver, and we have these stars on the palms of the hands here, a moon above, the Ouroboros here. It's just, yeah, like things way beyond your capacity, the star stuff you're made of, the cycles of time with that crescent moon, the larger cycles of time beyond your lifetime and beyond our solar system are at play here, and something solidifying through you. Some message is going to be said through you. This is really bizarre. I'm sorry. I hope this resonates. This is what's coming. I think it's just opening your throat to just being used for this mysterious, beyond perception. But I do get the feeling of light and beauty integrating through you as a vessel to anchor something. I'm not like a light, I don't know all the lingo with like light worker stuff, but I've heard those things of like anchoring things in star, I don't know. But I feel like maybe a lot of people that have come to this know a lot about that, so you'll know what I'm trying to say, because I've heard things, but I don't know what I'm saying really, but there's like light language stuff going on here. Okay, anyway, let's get some confirmation cards here. Queen of Swords. You also have to have, I think, to be used in the way you're being used right now, a sharp enough mind, a certain confidence and regality in being able to say yes and no to this type of stuff, and clearly being able to say that. And this, I think, is also saying that if any point this feels like too much or something you don't want, all you have to do is say no. And you'll reclaim yourself from being a vessel to just being your own control. But I think the reason why you have been chosen to be downloaded with certain things is, you have that confidence to say yes and no, and you have a very powerful mind that will know how to make sense of things once they are integrated, and how to use them with sort of a regality and confidence. But with care and nurturance as well, like how to also be a steward of what downloads into you in terms of the mental capacity, how to care for and nurture the information that comes in. Five of Swords. I'm getting a very different interpretation for Five of Swords than I normally do, and especially with this picture is like, it's like submitting to something so much bigger than you that you definitely don't understand, I think, at this point. But you know that there's some beauty there, and so it's just sort of like surrendering to it. But I love how this bigger force that's mysterious, I mean, in this card, I know it's supposed to be Saturn, or Venus, well, maybe this is Venusian stuff coming through, who knows? But just as a placeholder, as this entity, this bigger thing, this force that's mysterious, kind of coming into relationship with you, it does feel bigger than you. And I think it does feel in some ways overwhelming and in some ways incredibly exhilarating. But I love how paused this force is, and this as serving as you are, there's like consensus being established. It's not just overtaking you, it's like it's asking you. I think you've given permission already, maybe. That's why the Queen of Swords has shown up. But if you haven't, and you resonate with what's going on, and you feel more on the overwhelmed side than the exhilarated side, just say no. You can just say no here. And it will, whatever's channeling in you or using you as a vessel will go. Okay, the Weaver. Let's get a confirmation here. Page of Cups. Beautiful. Yeah, it's like anchoring in new dreams, new poetic dreams, new emotional dreams, new heart-centered dreams. But yeah, it's like anchoring in very imaginative stuff. Yeah, I think it may have to come more as an imaginal realm initially. You know how sometimes fiction becomes a little bit too real, like decades later or something? Or like, I mean, sometimes it's even quicker than that. Like a book will come out or a movie, and it's like, sometimes it's like 2 decades later, it feels very prophetic, and sometimes it's like, whoa, that's, oh, like an example, what was it, I don't know if any of you saw the movie White Noise, but it was like months later, some very strange specific things about that movie happened in real life that were like really, really specific. I mean, it was strange. I get that sense here. It's like maybe it's a prophecy is coming into you, but initially it will have to be delivered more in like an imaginal way. But it will end up being prophetic, but at least you have like seeded, or this thing through you will have seeded some ideas or some consciousness around it, and made it easy on people because it will be expressed in a more imaginal realm, to kind of soften it. Not that what's coming is bad or good. I don't have a sense of that, and it might be different for all of you. But yeah, just to make it more receivable to more people through your truth, through your expression. I think it's going to end up being delivered as more of an imaginal type of thing. Yeah, anyway, that's interesting. Okay, we're going to move down to this bottom row to get more general information about your throat chakra. So this first card is going to be an indication of the relationship you have with your chakra, or like what's the nature of how you relate to your throat chakra, and hence how you can strengthen that relationship. Intimacy. The energy of intimacy supports us trusting that we are safe to allow closeness. Beautiful. Yeah, and I love that, safe to allow closeness. I think this makes you a little bit alluring and magnetic, because I think you say things in a more vulnerable way than a lot of people know how to say. You're able to give more of yourself from more vulnerable places, maybe more openly, or you're able to really establish trust intimately, hence able to be more intimate in your relations. It's probably a multifaceted way of how you create intimacy through your truths and voice, but it's potent. Your truths, your expression is potent, both in interpersonal relationships and in just your effect in the world. you're willing to allow people close enough, and people feel safe, I think, speaking things vulnerably to you as well, or maybe you create spaces like that. But even bigger than that, I think that ability you have to allow closeness is also what's allowed closeness to things that are beyond our normal perceptions. There's like a trust there. It's interesting. Let's get a confirmation for this. Really, really potent and beautiful though. Like a really valuable throat chakra, I feel through that. Whoa, death. Yeah, you know how to go straight to the depths, to under the surface of things. You know how to witness very difficult things, both in you, in others, in the world, and in the mystery that we cannot fully perceive. And I think you know how to take down your barriers to enter other worlds in that way, which is like entering the underworld of yourself, the underworld of others, the underworld of the collective, the underworld of the underworld of space and time. And so you know how to bridge worlds because you're not scared to go into the dark of things. You're not scared to witness things that are hard, that are powerful, that are mysterious, that are complicated, and potentially sometimes even poisonous, because you've probably it's like you understand the role of witness, and you understand the role of like a psychopomp, of how to ferry things from the living to the dead, from world to world, from hidden to seen. Yeah, it's like you just know how to bridge the worlds to help things kind of come to life, in order to what to kill off, what to witness, what to cut away, in order to free things to be more life affirming, kind of thing. Yeah, really. Ooh, wow, you guys are powerful with your, and something about your expression, like you're not scared to express about this either, And then, this card is related to like patterns that will start to present when your throat chakra is active and healthy. Regret. I know that I cannot change the past. And this is totally, to me, connected to that intimacy and that depth of like really knowing how to see under the surface of things, where we tend to hide our, dark hidden things in the dark hidden nooks and corners. And I think you've seen it all. And so you know how to witness, you know how to move past, you know how to forgive, you know how to move on, and how to reignite life affirming, life force, how to rip out blocks and leaks and like get that channel of life force moving. Yeah, it's like a process you do. And that's what I was getting visions of, but I didn't know how to articulate it. It's like you know how to move stale things, blocks, clogs, anything under the surface, leaks. You know how to, and then how to channel more correctly and like rebuild and get life force sort of moving more beautifully, which gets us past things like regret or guilt or shame. It's like you know how to like move out of that, how to cut it away, how to drill through it, how to patch it up, how to just those types of sticky things where life force gets clogged. You know how to blast it, how to kill it off and get that that life affirming energy going again, where you can get past regret and start moving towards life and like recall of power and recall of soul. It's very shamanic to me. Really cool. Okay, confirmation here, 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like you're very patient too. You know what to invest in. You know how to cultivate. You know how to be very patient about all of this. It is work that takes a lot of time. And I love how this Death card, it's like these silhouettes going from small to bigger, and you have the same thing over here. It's like you know how to focus in on like the main issue and expand past that to see all of the subsequent issues it's created because of that. But you know how to get to the root issue of things and how to eradicate from that, and then hence how to rebuild from there. So this is like your relationship to your throat chakra, your truth, your expression. You know how to say things, express things, even creatively, that break up the vibrations of anything that's really repressed and oppressed us in the hardest, deepest, darkest areas of life. Like you're just not scared to vocalize that, and it eradicates things. It clears those blocks so powerfully and beautifully. And then you know how to go back in and be patient in rebuilding from that root place back out, and do it right, and do it beautifully, and do it sensually. Really amazing energy, you guys. Okay, this last one we're going to look at when your throat chakra is in a mode of integrating something into it. What is that process? So what does that feel like when that's taking place? And so this is a kind of a deck that the descriptions are a little bit more metaphor oriented. So it's been fun to play with that, this reading. It was this deck, I never really use it, and it just jumped out as like wanting to be in this spot, and I kind of resisted it, and I kept trying to like find a different deck, but it kept saying no me, and I was like, okay, I don't know, like these are very strange messages. I don't know if I'll know how to translate them for this, but it's worked so far. Okay, so 17, it says hive mind. Listen for the low faint hum likened to a heartbeat. The abandoned will paradox of one movement, one life, one existence, and billions of existences. The secret glyph of infinity tattooed on your third eye. Do you feel it? Well, damn. The abandoned wild paradox of one movement, one life, one existence, and billions. Well, and I, just thinking about that hive mind. Yeah, I mean, I think you know how to, like when your throat chakra is integrating things, I think its process, it does like really tap into more of collective, much bigger things than you. It becomes a vessel. It becomes open to something bigger, helping to integrate certain truths that it trusts you with. And it's like you okay, so this is interesting. I am feeling suddenly, which makes so much sense, that your throat chakra has a deep connection to your third eye, which is where we have certain knowings that can be beyond us and that can connect to past lifetimes. But but I'm even honing in on this secret glyph of affinity tattooed on your third eye. So it's like even beyond like your past lifetimes, it's like knowings that are coming from a place of like a secret access to energy of infinity, which is like beyond our perception, you know, but it's like you have, it's like you've been programmed with a door in your third eye that connects very powerfully to your throat when it's processing, when it's integrating. So the things, the truths, the expressions that form in your throat are coming from a place your third eye has access to that's like beyond you, beyond your knowing, your inner child, your past lives. It's beyond any of that, any perception of, something we understand. So I don't know why you have a programming with that, but you do. And I felt there was like a we here too, of like, they are integrating something into you. Whatever you are a vessel for is like a we or a they, them, but a we factor, which is like the hive thing. So wherever, you know, this access point to the beyond you, it's like a hive of energy. You know, I don't know what I'm saying here. This is such a fascinating reading, and I feel like it's beyond what I can interpret, but hopefully it's making sense to you guys. At least in like sensation or like things you haven't always understood, and like maybe you can't articulate it either, but maybe it makes sense. Hanged being, you completely are able to, when your throat chakra is integrating, like it knows how to surrender out of itself to become a vessel. I mean, that's essentially what's happened here. It knows how to give up its perspective, its opinion, its own truth, and open up to something bigger, higher, more beautiful, more intelligent, more light. To come in and have access to it and download things into it. And it's, you know, like, it's not to say you don't have your own intelligence. What I'm saying here is this stuff is beyond human intelligence. And I think you would have to be at a certain level of intelligence, like a Queen of Swords, to be chosen for this kind of thing. But having a vulnerable enough relationship to your throat chakra to allow whatever's going on here is so fascinating. To allow something to use you as a vessel that's for a beautiful source. Okay. To end the reading, I want to pull some a couple cards that are more related to this specific spiral of creation. So even though you guys have your own things you're taking through this journey, your own inspirations that you initially downloaded that you're taking through this, I just want to, because you've come to this pile and you have a certain energy about your throat chakra, I wanted to see if we could get just some sort of more general message about what may happen as this spiral of creation comes into your throat, what sort of focus may come, what kind of truths may come in a general way. Beautiful fire. So this is like the creative spark. And I did feel like the way whatever is coming through your throat, whatever truth or expression that you may need to say that's coming, I did have this feeling that it was going to be a little bit more through like a creative or imaginal place in order to be able to deliver it more broadly and more easily. And so I do feel like this will bring a creative spark into you. And it does feel very pioneering, obviously, what's coming through. So it's like, you know, fire can be the beginning, you know, the spark, the beginning of the journey, the torch that lights the way. So many things, but it's illuminating the path, it's energizing the path, it's creating a fierceness and a creativity and an illumination and a warmth. So whatever comes through in this particular spiral, it will really feel kind of fiery in probably many different kinds of ways. Whoops. And then this is going to be, so from the Mayan kind of day keeping system, there's these archetypes, and I wanted to pull an ally for you during this week, or at least when I'm doing these a week apart. But for however long you decide to spend in the throat chakra and doing this work and feeling like whatever needs to be integrated and connected to here has taken place, or has even opened to this, you know, like your throat's even opened here. I want an ally from this, Mayan kind of archetypes to, you know, just seeing what kind of energy presents itself as wanting to help, you know, protect and guide you here, which might give us some other clues as well. Oh my gosh. That couldn't have been a more perfect one. So this is Kaban, or Earth, which is actually all about the evolution of our planet. And so it tends to bring a lot of synchronicities into our life to help us, because it's like the archetype that is directing us forward. It knows how to look back on the past to make sense of things in order to know how to go forward. But it connects with a lot of synchronicities, downloaded messages, all that kind of stuff to help be that pathfinder forward into our evolution. So whatever is coming, it is for the evolution, literally, of our Earth. However big or small a part you end up playing with what expression comes out of you or truth comes out of you. But I do feel like initially it will come out as more of it like a creative inspiration to help deliver it, more softly and broadly and easily into, like, seeding into people. Really, really fascinating reading, you guys. Really fascinating throat chakra. I don't know that I did it justice, because there were things that I felt like were above what I was able to articulate, but hopefully if you came to this pile, you could fill in those gaps and kind of understand what I was trying to get at. All right, but anyway, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate a thumbs up. Definitely enjoy perusing comments if there's something you want to say, and definitely subscribe as well if you're not yet. And next week I will be back with the second to last of this chakra series, where we'll go back into kind of downward and into our solar plexus chakra, where, you know, in the throat chakra is our first kind of push out into the greater world of this spiral, but the solar plexus will be kind of our production force of, like, finding the willpower, the confidence, the fire to really push this forward, push it out into the world, and connect to what's luminous for us about it. Hence being able to be connected to our power and confidence there. So I will see you in that reading for me a week from now. All right, see you guys.